Good morning. It's Friday, October the 18th, and I'm at another cemetery visiting a war grave of a soldier who died during the Vietnam War. I'm at Pine Hill Cemetery in Scarborough, Ontario, and I'm in the military section N. His grave is number 93, and I'm going to show you exactly where his grave is. Randolph. His name's Randolph Hatton. I'll show you his marker. But if you're looking for Randolph, you want to come and pay your respects. This is the main cenotaph and the main veteran area. The cemetery is huge, but this section N, to my understanding, is predominantly veterans' graves. So if you're coming to look for Randolph, Mr. Hatton, his marker is, I don't know, 30 feet from the cenotaph here, from the obelisk. It's 30 feet back. So it's right here. So if you were to come here and you didn't get information from the office, it'd be pretty hard to find this grave. I didn't go into the office, but I did speak to them on the phone. So I had an idea, but it still took me a little while to find Mr. Hatton. So on this grave as well, you can see there's a Canadian flag and a U.S. Army flag. I placed those there. The U.S. Army insignia flag I sent away for, and I received it, I don't know, about a week and a half ago. And you can see the prayer hands, they were knocked over. I fixed that. I tended to his grave a little bit. You can see a bouquet of flowers. So I'm assuming this person, her name is Joan E. Comic. Obviously, someone very close to Randolph is buried here as well. I'm assuming this was his wife, common law wife, or maybe girlfriend. And Joan was born November 30th, 1937, and passed away April 16th, 2011. Now, based on information I got off the internet, I'm thinking that this was his spouse of some sort. And I'll touch on that in 1 second. Now you're going to notice I just placed his name that looks like it's been, it's been smudged, rubbing. So what this is his actual name that I sent away from the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. So I received this one about, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. From Washington, along with one other, and I received the third rubbing of another Vietnam casualty, I don't know, about 2 months ago. But I'm going to be visiting 3 veterans from the Vietnam War, and all 3, unfortunately, were killed in action. Randolph being one of them. So I'm gonna read a little background information on Randolph. Now, from what I got off the internet too, I think his stepdaughter said he was referred to as Butch. Now, I'd have to say that's a good handle. I wish I had a handle by the name of Butch. That's a pretty cool name. But I'll call him Randolph, or Randy. But anyhow, I'll call him Randolph or Mr. Hatton. So Randolph, he was part of the 8th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division. And like I told you when he was born. Okay, so Randolph served in the Canadian Navy and later enlisted in the U.S. Army in Buffalo, giving a false birth date and falsely stating he was born in the United States. That's kind of a common story with a lot of veterans, but this is unique because it's a Vietnam veteran. His military training was at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and Fort Benning, Georgia. His tour started January 20th, 1968, with Company E, 2nd Battalion, 8th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division, Air Mobile. Private First Class Hatton was killed in action in an attack on an unidentified landing zone in Tai Nai Province, Republic of Vietnam, on November 14th, 1968. Now, this information came from Cross Border Warriors. Now, I dug a little further into Randolph's background, and it turns out he was an employee of the Toronto Transit Commission. So I'm going to read an excerpt from the Windsor Star, dated November 20th, 1968. And this is a report of loss in Vietnam, I guess, that the Windsor Star published. I don't know how often they did that, but this one was dated November 20th, 1968. And his death was November 14th, so it was 6 days after his death. Okay, so it says Randolph Hatton, a Canadian serving with United States forces in Vietnam, wrote his parents recently that he'd hoped to be home for Christmas. Well, unfortunately, that didn't happen, obviously. His body arrives at Toronto International Airport tonight. The 29-year-old former bus driver and Toronto Transit Commission motorman died of wounds suffered November 14th when the Viet Cong hit a U.S. airstrip with mortar fire. His father, Harold, a motor mechanic, was notified Monday by a U.S. Army official who drove from Niagara Falls, New York. Hatton, a private first class, had been in Vietnam for about a year and had been wounded once previously. Mr. Hatton said that his son was registered for the U.S. draft when he worked as a bus driver in New York several years ago. He had returned to Canada and was working in a service station when he received a draft notice. His father, this is in quotation, so his father said, "I told him to ignore it, that he didn't have to go." Mr. Hatton said, but he felt he had lived and worked there, so should go. The U.S. Army is sending, it says pending, it says sending, I guess pending. The U.S. Army is pending, but I'm assuming that's sending a guard of honor for the funeral Thursday. So hopefully that the honor guard did come up and took part in his final service. So also, okay, so on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund webpage, someone posted a little write-up, a little memorial to Randolph, and I'm going to read that. And I'm assuming this is his stepdaughter that wrote this. It was posted on December the 8th, 2021, posted by Joanne Kelly. It says, "Father, stepfather, dad. Randolph, Butch to his friends and family, was a hero in another way. He took on a ready-made family. Dad met Mom when I was 6, and Mom had 6 kids. Dad accepted the responsibility. He lives on in our hearts. Stepdad to Joanne James, Ronnie, Rose Debbie, Diane, and Dad to Don and Randy." So, by my interpretation of this, Randolph met a lady, and I'm thinking her name was Joan, based on the other marker there, with 6 kids. So then, the way I look at this, he had another 2 with Joan. So my hat's off to Randolph for sure. It, like Joanne said, his stepdaughter, yeah, that's a big responsibility. So this guy, by the sounds of it, had a heart of gold for sure, and he had a sense of duty. And unfortunately, he gave his life for that sense of duty. But it's nice to see that Randolph is buried in such close proximity to the main cenotaph area of Pine Hill Cemetery in Scarborough. So that's really nice. Now, if anyone sees this video, a relative, and they would like this rubbing, I will be more than glad to send it to anyone that requests it that is a relative. I don't care where it is in the world, I will send it. And I'm no relative of Randolph or anyone that he's related to that I'm aware of. I'm not ex-military, I'm not ex-police, firefighter, anything like that. I'm just someone that wants to pay respects to maybe people to people and soldiers that maybe are forgotten. And in this case, I don't think Randolph is that forgotten, which is very nice. Very nice. His, obviously his grave and his wife or his spouse's or significant other's grave has been attended to. So that's nice to see. So many I attend and visit are not. So this is kind of nice. So I'm just glad I could come up and pay my respects today. Place a Canadian flag for his country, and place an Army flag for the country he died for. That's going to conclude my video today. Enjoy your day.